In the town of Dreamland, where every dreamer lives, there was a boy named Raoul. Raoul was 10 years old, and he was poor. But Raoul had a big dream, to one day find a treasure so enormous that it would change his life forever. Every morning, he would wake up early, wash himself in the nearby river, and head over to the town's only library, which was run by an old man named Mr. Forever. Raoul spent every day at the library reading book after book, trying to find clues about where the treasure might be hidden. One day, while flipping through an old map, Raoul noticed a strange symbol at the edge of town. Intrigued, he decided to explore further. He wandered through the forest, following the symbol, until he came upon another boy his age, Billy. Billy was also 10 years old, and he too was poor. But Billy had a big dream, to one day become the greatest explorer the world had ever seen. The two boys quickly became friends, sharing their stories and dreams with each other as they continued their journey through the forest. They discovered that they both lived in the same part of town. The two boys quickly became friends. As they walked and talked, they realized that they had more in common than just their dreams. They both believed in working hard and never giving up, no matter how difficult life became. They also both had a special connection to Mr. Forever, the storyteller who ran the library. Raoul often stayed late at the library, listening to Mr. Forever's tales of adventure and bravery, while Billy would sometimes sneak in through the back door to listen to him. One day, as they were exploring a particularly dense section of the forest, they stumbled upon a hidden path. The path led to an ancient ruin covered in vines and overgrown with plants. As they made their way through the ruins, they discovered a hidden chamber filled with dusty old books and parchments. Excitedly, they began to explore the chamber, searching for clues about the treasure they were seeking. Hours passed as they pored over the documents, debating their findings and sharing ideas. Eventually, they discovered a series of cryptic notes that seemed to point towards the location of a hidden treasure buried deep beneath the town square. They couldn't believe their luck. They raced back to Dreamland, eager to share their discovery with Mr. Forever. When they arrived at the library, they found Mr. Forever alone. As usual, they explained their findings to him, showing him the notes and the map they had drawn. The old storyteller's eyes lit up with excitement, and he began to nod knowingly. "I have heard rumors of such a treasure," he whispered. "It is said to be guarded by a great dragon, and only those with pure hearts and unwavering courage can hope to claim it." He looked at Raoul and Billy, taking in their determined faces. "You two seem like you fit the bill. I believe in you both." Inspired by Mr. Forever's words, Raoul and Billy set off the next day, their hearts pounding with excitement and fear. They followed the map they had drawn, navigating through the winding tunnels that led them deeper and deeper beneath the town square. Finally, they came to a massive chamber, its walls adorned with shining gold and glittering jewels. There, at the center of the room, lay the dragon. The creature was enormous, its scales shimmering like burnished copper in the dim light. Its eyes were a piercing sapphire blue, and its breath steamed as it snorted fire into the air. Raoul and Billy exchanged nervous glances, their courage wavering for a moment. But then they remembered Mr. Forever's words, Only those with pure hearts and unwavering courage can hope to claim it. They took a deep breath, squared their shoulders, and stepped forward. The dragon regarded them with a mixture of curiosity and amusement. "Young ones," it rumbled, its voice deep and resonant, "why have you come here?" Raoul and Billy hesitated, unsure of how to answer. Finally, Billy found his voice. "We've come to claim the treasure," he said, his voice steady despite his trembling. "We've heard stories about it, and we believe that we have what it takes to earn it." The dragon considered this for a moment, its eyes gleaming in the flickering torchlight. "And what makes you think that you are worthy?" it asked, arching its scaly brow. Raoul and Billy exchanged glances again, their courage growing as they thought of their shared dreams and the lessons they had learned from Mr. Forever. "We believe that we have the courage to face challenges and the determination to never give up," Raoul replied, his voice strong and steady. "We may not be the strongest or the smartest, but we have hearts that are pure and unwavering." Billy nodded in agreement, his expression determined. "We've learned from stories like yours, Mr. Forever, about heroes who have faced dragons and won. We may not be heroes yet, but we're willing to try and prove ourselves." The dragon considered their words for a moment, its gaze intent. Finally, it let out a sigh. "Very well," it rumbled, "you have convinced me that you have the spirit to attempt the task. But know this, the treasure you seek is not without its dangers. There are traps and pitfalls hidden throughout the chamber, designed to test the strength and courage of all who come here." The dragon's eyes gleamed as it continued, "And once you've retrieved the treasure, you must make your way back out unharmed and undisturbed, or the curse that guards this place will fall upon you." Raoul and Billy nodded solemnly, their hearts pounding with anticipation and fear. The dragon watched them for a moment longer, as if judging their resolve, before finally speaking again. "Very well then, young adventurers, prove your worth, and the treasure shall be yours." With a mighty roar, the dragon spread its wings and launched itself into the air, disappearing into the darkness with a flick of its tail. They hesitated for a moment, glancing at each other uncertainly, before beginning their search for the treasure. The chamber was vast and labyrinthine, with traps and pitfalls hidden behind every glinting gem and shining bauble. They moved cautiously, testing each step and listening for any sign of danger. As they explored further, they began to notice subtle changes in the air, a slight scent of sulfur wafting on the breeze, and the occasional glimmer of malice in the dragon's eyes as it watched them from the shadows. Finally, they discovered the hidden door that had been revealed to them in their dreams. It was unadorned and unassuming, blending seamlessly into the stonework of the chamber. As they approached, they felt a shiver of anticipation run down their spines. The air grew colder, and the light seemed to dim, as if the very fabric of reality was shifting around them. They reached out tentatively, their hands trembling as they touched the smooth wood. With a click, the door swung open, revealing a small, dimly lit chamber beyond. The air was thick with a sense of foreboding, and they could feel the weight of centuries of untold secrets pressing down upon them. The room was filled with strange artifacts and arcane symbols, but in the center, resting on a pedestal of polished black stone, was the treasure they had come to find, a single gleaming jewel the size of a human heart. Its color shifted and changed as they gazed upon it, seeming to reflect every emotion they had ever felt. Raoul and Billy exchanged uncertain glances before carefully making their way into the chamber. They moved cautiously, their senses heightened as they took in every detail of their surroundings. The air grew colder, and the light grew dimmer as they neared the pedestal, and they could feel the power emanating from the jewel, as if it were a living thing, pulsing with energy. As they reached out to touch the pedestal, they noticed a small inscription carved into its surface. The one who holds the key to open shall be the one who sets the world free. They looked at each other, realizing that they had no idea what the key was or how to find it. Their hearts sank as they realized that they had failed in their quest. They turned to leave the chamber, their shoulders slumped in defeat. As they retraced their steps through the twisting passageways, they could feel the weight of the dragon's gaze upon them, as if it were waiting for them to fail. They emerged from the cavern into the dim light of dawn, their spirits crushed. Raoul and Billy trudged back to their village, their heads bowed in shame. News of their failure spread quickly, and they were met with looks of disappointment and pity. They returned to their humble lives, resigned to the fact that their dream had been nothing more than a fleeting fancy. Time passed, and they tried to forget about the treasure and the dragon. They found solace in the simple pleasures of their village, working in the fields, tending to their animals, and spending time with their friends and family. But deep down, they knew that something was missing. They had tasted adventure, and they couldn't shake the feeling that there was more out there for them. One day, as they sat by the village well, sharing stories and laughter with the other villagers, an old traveler approached them. His eyes held a spark of recognition, and he asked if they had ever heard of the legend of the dragon's treasure. They looked at each other, exchanging glances before nodding sullenly. The traveler leaned in close, lowering his voice to a whisper. "I have seen the treasure with my own eyes, my friends," he said, "and I believe I know how to find the key that is mentioned in the inscription." He paused, studying their faces, and then continued, "If you are truly committed to seeking the truth and setting the world free, I will share my knowledge with you." Raoul and Billy exchanged glances, their hearts racing with hope. They nodded eagerly, promising the traveler that they would help him in any way they could. The old man smiled, revealing a few remaining teeth, and began to tell them of a hidden path that led to a forgotten temple said to hold the key to the dragon's treasure.